There we go. Got some people coming in out of the waiting room. Perfect. Hello, pear growers. Thank you for joining us today. We were excited to put this one together, especially given the pear harvest is just around the corner. So I wanted to make sure before we jump into the content here, just to let folks know this is a live interactive webinar. So right down at the bottom there, feel free to hit the Q&A button if you have any questions at any point. Honestly, if we have a small enough group today, I'm happy to light up your microphone as well, and we can actually get some live discussion going. But typically in the past with our larger groups, I'll just tend to read the questions. But please feel free and use the Q&A button down there. The biggest question that we get usually is, are we recording this? We know farmers have a lot of things on their plate running in and out. We appreciate you joining us today. But if you do need to leave, yes, we are recording this session and we'll be happy to send it out afterwards. So that being said, I'm happy to introduce Ashley Reese, our resident expert on all things FieldClock related. So Ashley, I will turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Nico. Excited to have everyone with us today. Today, we're just going to be talking about getting prepared for pear harvest. Just some tools, tips, H-2A best practices, just to answer a few questions and kind of give you an idea if you were looking to switch over from pen and paper to a digitized system, what that would look like and why FieldClock is a really great option, if not one of the best. If you're unfamiliar with FieldClock, FieldClock is a timekeeping app that was created by farmers for farmers. So instead of using pen and paper to capture the time your employees clock in and clock out, if you're doing piecework, recording that production, and instead of using little pieces of paper for that as well, we digitize the process. And the goal here is to have real-time reporting, that real-time clocking in, clocking out, real-time reporting to make better decisions on the fly as you need it, and when the day is done, for your day to be done. So instead of really taking time with your team to calculate or tally or to use those Excel spreadsheets, FieldClock allows you just to review your day and make decisions instead of having to do all that back-end work. So I'm excited to tell you more about that and more about FieldClock. FieldClock started out in 2015. We had a first generation farmer that was recording time, attendance, and piecework with pen and paper. And he and his wife would go out there, capture everyone's time. And at the end of the day, he and a group of all of his employees would sit there for an hour, if not more, after production and having to go through and tally and record all this information. And they thought to themselves, again, there has to be a better way to do this. So they partnered up. They worked with a team to be able to create this app. And we have been in production, if you will, or been working with farms since 2015. Another couple of call outs here. Last year was a very big year for us. We partnered with ADP. We recognize that a lot of smaller farms don't have a great experience when it comes to working with large payroll companies. So we've partnered with a powerhouse that allows us to give you a really great company and really great payroll with that small family feel. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. The other big thing that we've done and what I am very proud of is our partnership with American Farm Bureau. We now are a member benefit for American Farm Bureau, and I believe we're now with 20 states, and Nico will certainly correct me later on when I talk about this again. But if you're looking for a list of those states where we're a member benefit, by all means, ask us, and we'd be certainly happy to let you know what that's all about. So FieldClock started off in the Pacific Northwest, working with Ryan and his wife, growing apples, pears, and cherries. But what we've done is we cut our teeth on probably the hardest calculations when it comes to farming, minimum wage calculations, piecework, break pay, those really, really difficult things to do. And because we've created such a robust system, over the past 10 years, we've also started to make this really, really simple and easy to use across the board. So we're absolutely focused on pairs today, but when it comes to a system like this for yourself or your neighbor, I don't want you to feel like this is too much for your operation or not enough. I'd love to have a conversation with you and really kind of walk through where you'd like to streamline your operation, because FieldClock is so flexible. Doesn't matter whether you're working with livestock, with thousands and thousands of acres and only a handful of employees, to really large scale production with thousands of employees. We have a really great system that's going to be flexible and work with you and your operation. So now, what is the cost of pen and paper? Although we work with a lot of farmers that have systems already in place and are just looking maybe for something a little bit more geared to agriculture, we work a lot with farmers that are switching from a pen and paper system and want something digitized, whether it's for compliance reasons, whether it's because the cost of labor is just so much now where we need to streamline our efforts and reduce the amount of time it takes to do these calculations. Whatever the reason, there is a need for this, and the cost of pen and paper is compounding. My background is in agriculture. I've run an apple and peach orchard in the past, and I was using pen and paper as well. And that's compounding. It was compounding for me. So I would have time cards where everyone showed up in the morning where they would handwrite their time in. I then would have to go and collect them weekly. So it means that whether we had off or if it was harvesting or season or not, I had to go collect those time cards. A lot of those time cards aren't filled out completely. So now, just like me and a lot of other farmers out there, if my employee doesn't get back to me by the time I need to run payroll, I need to fill out their time card. So a lot of the time, I'll overinflate their hours. And that really isn't a great insurance policy, especially with compliance laws being what they are now. But now I take those time cards and then I have to enter that information onto an Excel spreadsheet. And now, if you're doing piecework, that's way more intense. And you can imagine that now having to do those calculations, those minimum wage adjustments, the opportunity for error is way greater. So now, after all of this time and all of this energy, I need to take my manual entries and I need to run payroll. I need to pay my people. So now, if my information is inaccurate, that timestamp for payroll processing is really where it's magnified and it's solidified. So now, if I made any errors there, I would have to make some changes on my future payroll, and it just keeps going from there. Now, your taxes, your compliance are all based on your payroll records as well as your timestamps. So as you can imagine, the cost of pen and paper really is compounding, and simple mistakes just by the wrong entry for time in and time out can really be compounding and be very costly on the back end when it comes to overpaying your employees or even the penalties for inaccurate records. So FieldClock we created a system through FieldClock that makes this process really easy. Your employees are essentially recording and storing all this information for you. And the goal is that we've made this such an easy process for them, which is going to make it easy for you on the back end. So we have a couple of different ways to do this, but what I'd like to say is FieldClock, unlike a lot of other systems out there, we don't break apart modules and make you purchase things or you have to use this one feature. What we do is we've created all of these different features and we let you use them how your team needs to, because every operation is very unique and operates differently. So we give you the tools to use, and it's up to us to be able to find out what workflow is easiest for you to be able to capture this information. Everything is app based. It works with Android, iPhone, any smart device. As long as it can take a picture and download an app, we're able to use it, which also allows you to really control your own expenses. It does work offline as well for those of you who are in a rural area. It does work offline for you. Our mobile app is meant to be used by an employee who can clock themselves in and out. So for those independent employees that you have, it can be used by a crew boss, a supervisor, a manager to clock other people in and out, whether it's at one location or out in the field. We give you that multi-user accessibility. We have a kiosk app. So for those of you who have everyone come to one location in the morning and they leave from that same location, like a pack house, a warehouse, a shop, you can use our kiosk app. All of this information comes back to us in real time to our admin site. And one call out here is we auto sync. So unlike other systems out there that you have to grab this information, pull it, push it, upload it, FieldClock is going to auto sync. So we're not relying on your employees to send it to us at the end of the day. We are going to constantly pull it throughout the day so that everyone has real-time access and real-time data, which floods back to our admin site. From here, this is where you can pay your people and run reports. We also have a proprietary employee portal that is meant for transparency. Your employees have access to be able to see what hours they worked, production, things like that. So you get to tailor their experience here as well, but it really creates great transparency and really helps prevent any of those retroactive changes like, hey, you didn't pay me enough, or I picked 5 bins, not 4 bins. So now that you've gone from a pen and paper system to FieldClock, what are the major benefits that you're going to get? I mean, automatically you're going to have that real-time clock in, clock out. So you're going to eliminate missed punches or guest work. You're going to have accurate job tracking by task, crop, location, and in the moment and not by memory. Less paperwork and less chance of human error. When your day is done, your day is done. There's no reason to go back in for that paperwork. Those manual entry errors, I can't tell you how costly they are. Whether that's out in the field or back in the office, there's going to be no double entry required because we're going to create that immediate visibility. And those really difficult calculations, so hours, piecework, break time, overtime, we're not going to have those miscalculations because we're going to have things set up so that it automatically does things like that for you. This is Blaine Smith, and I love his quote. He's talking about his bookkeeper reducing the amount of time for that person. But for me, what I felt when I was working on the farm, where I was out working, I was doing pick your own. So as you can imagine, I was there before my employees got there. They would get there, I'd get them all set up. At the end of the day, everyone else would go home, but I would stay there for hours afterwards because if I didn't handle that paperwork then, I would have days and days worth of paperwork to do when I needed to be out in the field. And for me, those hours after work were away from my family. And that was really valuable time for me that I could have saved by using a system like this. And I know many of you are doing the same thing. This is just a little bit more talking about labor and how labor is getting more expensive. So we've seen steady wage growth. So since 2006, the A-work for H-2A workers has climbed from about $8.60 an hour to nearly $18 an hour in 2024, and just more projected increases year over year. The A-work hikes have averaged about 6% in recent years, and that's not even calculating the other cost to housing, transportation, visa fees, record keeping, compliance, and administration. All of those play a very significant role in increasing your overall labor expense. So the point to this is being able to control the cost of labor to the best of your ability is even more essential now than it ever has been. And a system like FieldClock is meant to give you the ability to make those real-time changes, to make those real-time decisions, so that really you can maximize your existing labor cost. So calculating the true cost of labor. Harvesting pears, as you know, is very labor intensive. Block level tracking, or what we call job costing, can help you measure how long your crews spend in each field, track bins or truckloads picked by worker by block. And it really helps prevent over or underpaying crews based on inaccurate record keeping. By tracking this performance over time, you can really make better decisions. Am I making enough money on this block? Do I want to invest and expand it? What varieties am I getting the best results from? Maybe I want to put in more or take some out. It also helps you simplify your record keeping. So, really easy to create accurate reports for payroll, even for H-2A audits. All of our records in FieldClock are easily accessible and exportable, time-stamped, and even backed up. Um, I think I'll talk about this in the next slide here, but when it comes to labor law and compliance, how many of you have actually gone through an audit where someone has come out to the farm? It is nerve-wracking. And then they're like, hey, can you pull this information from this day and time? So now if you're doing pen and paper, those time cards, you got to find that bin from 2 years ago. And as you're going through looking for your little rubber band stack of time cards, you're thinking to yourself, oh God, I hope everyone filled out their time card appropriately. I hope so then you've got to find it and really hope it's there. But with FieldClock, you're going to be able to just go back to that day, pull those records easily, and be able to print it out, export it, send it via email. It really makes that process less nerve-wracking because you're able to pull things quickly and easily. Also with FieldClock, not only do we have that audit-ready transparency, but we really help you with your state-specific compliance. We help you configure your wage rates and templates so that it removes the guesswork, so that we know and you know that you're paying your people accurately, and you have the confidence knowing that when and if an audit takes place, that you've got everything in place to be able to successfully manage that. No, we talked about payroll in the beginning with ADP, but I just want to be very clear. FieldClock exports to over 20 top payroll entities, including QuickBooks. It's not limited to those 20 either. If you're working with a payroll system and you like it, we want you to continue using what works for you. And with all of our plans, you're able to get a payroll export file that's going to work with you and your payroll system. However, if you are a smaller farm that is struggling with your payroll system, believe me when I tell you that we talk to farms all across the country every day, and I was surprised at first about this, but there were really large payroll companies and people working there that didn't know what a 943 tax filer was. And if your payroll system doesn't understand you or your operation, you're not in the right place. With FieldClock, we really recognize this challenge for small farms. And now what we've done is we've partnered with ADP to bring them into our own system where you can record time and pay your people right in one place. I really like this partnership because ultimately it allows you to work with the same people in and day out, which is us. You have a question regarding your payroll, you call us, we will work through that with you. If we don't have an answer to your question, we have a direct channel through ADP so that this way we're able to not only come back to you with an answer, but be able to answer the next person quickly when they have the same one. So we really want to make sure that you feel that we understand your business because we do. And when it comes to payroll, we've got your back and you know who exactly you're working with and talking to. So I know I've covered a lot and I'm sure that there are a number of questions, but I would love to talk to you. I don't want to make you feel pressured in any way. I'm here to answer any and all questions you have, and my contact information is right here in case you'd like to ask some privately.
Excellent. Thanks, Ash. Yeah, we've got a few questions coming in from folks. Let me pull up my Q&A. There we go. So I'm just going to start as they came in. So probably going back a few slides here. I'm looking at Javier is asking, oh, okay, we get this one a lot. Can I track both hourly and piecework at the same time?
Absolutely. That's a really great question. Yes. So you can do that very easily, whether it's the same crew or using multiple crews. You can keep recording all the jobs and activities you do, and FieldClock helps put that together.
Excellent. Uh, oh, I don't think I've seen this one in one of our webinars. Okay, can I limit what my foreman or employees see in the app? I like that.
Yeah, I do like that question. And yes, so we will help build your account and tailor not only your experience for how it best suits your operation, but we can also tailor your employees' experience, what they say, what they see, and what they can do, and how they can interact with the system.
Awesome. Eddie over in California is asking, what exactly happens if my crew doesn't have cell service in the orchard?
Yeah, great question. So we work offline. So what'll happen is your crew will go out. They can continue to record their tasks, their jobs, their production. They can even bounce around. And as soon as your devices have connectivity, whether it's cell or Wi-Fi, FieldClock is going to auto sync. We're going to grab that information and pull it in as soon as that connectivity is available.
Perfect. So Lorena is asking, how does FieldClock help with my H-2A? Will it allow me to pass a wage audit? It's not going to help you pass the audit exactly. I mean, if you're not in compliance, you're not in compliance, but I'll let Ashley go into exactly how it's going to help.
Yeah, so first of all, we're going to have the accuracy of real-time stamps. So when your employees clock out, when they clock in, you'll also have wage programs and wage programs set up to ensure compliance, to ensure their break pay is accurate, to ensure their minimum wage payments are accurate. So we are going to help with that piece of the compliance as well. The other piece that we've just added is we now do a wage companion sheet. So if you are a farm that struggles with reporting hours offered, hours worked, now that comes standard in our reports where when you go to push your payroll through, we'll also give you these reports that'll break down your employees week or weeks, however long your pay period is, which will show all of that information that's required through H-2A regulations. If you're interested in learning more about those, I can certainly walk through that with you.
Perfect. Let's see, Eddie. We have Eddie's. We just did that one. Oh, Stephanie over in Washington. So she's asking, what specific devices do I need to run FieldClock? Oh, easy
Uh,
one.
yeah, absolutely. So any phone or Apple, Android, iPad, whatever it is that you need, and it really is going to be depending on how you'd like to use it. And again, that's a question I'd love to answer for you. So if you wanted to meet with me to talk through your operation and maybe how many devices you may need or who's going to be interacting with it, I can do that with you as well.
Absolutely. Oh, I like this one from George up in Oregon because we're talking about harvest, and yes, harvest is very chaotic, but George is asking, is this just for harvest, or can I use it for things like thinning, pruning, and other tasks?
No, that's a great question. And I mean, I know I'm a little bit biased, but you should absolutely be using it for anything and everything that you can record. What's going to happen is you don't really know until you start recording this information how beneficial it is to know how long it takes to prune your orchard. Have they done a good job? Did you need to use more thinning that you did last year based on how long it took them to prune it? Did they do a good job pruning? So really what FieldClock does is it helps you create standards for your crew, and from standards you can forecast and create budgets and figure out how many employees you need to handle this task effectively moving forward. So by all means, yes, please use it for that, because the more you do, the more you'll know.
Absolutely. A lot of folks from Oregon today. So Tom is asking, how fast can I get my supervisors trained on this? Open-ended.
Yeah, a little open-ended, but that's also a really good question. We make the onboarding and implementation and training process really easy. So when you decide that you're ready to try this out, we'll work with you so that we help build this customized experience for you. And then we want to meet with your team as well. So when you talk to us, we want to know who's going to be interacting with the system the most. And we'd like to be able to meet with them to make sure that they feel confident and comfortable with FieldClock, and just also have the assurance and contact information to contact us directly when and if your team needs help. So we feel that by working with them one-on-one, we'll be able to get them up and running. Of course, it's going to take a little bit of time and maybe some tweaks or changes just to get used to the system. But with our support system being there for you and for your employees, we can make this a pretty quick turnaround, pretty quick turnaround for them.
All right, this last question. Well, yeah, I mean, we see this one a lot too, and we don't really cover it in the slides, but pretty standard question. Raphael's asking, how much does it cost, and are there any hidden fees?
That's a really great question. So we have a couple of plans that are openly listed on the website. We have a family plan that is $50 a month for up to 10 employees. That's meant for smaller farms that do peak and have some seasonality. We also have a pro plan, and we start at $10 per employee per month. We can even reduce that price as well with loyalty agreements. So instead of offering you like a sweetheart deal in the beginning and trying to lower our price to kind of get you in, our price is our price. But if you stay with us longer, we're going to give you the ability to reduce that price per person as well. Again, we want to retain your business and thank you for it. So we do offer those discounts. There's nothing hidden. The only thing that is a separate line item is our payroll. So everything we talked about today, whether it's the mobile app, the kiosk app, our admin site, that employee portal, all of those come standard in our packages. If you wanted to add payroll, that's no problem. It's simply just it's an extra line item on its own.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I love the fact with our Farm Bureau discount, oftentimes it depends on the state or the county, but oftentimes that $10 a month will offset their membership dues for that particular Farm Bureau state, or at least cut it in a pretty healthy percentage. But a lot of our clients love the fact that we have that baked in there. All right. Well, I think that was the last question. I wanted to thank everybody for joining us today. And Ashley, thanks so much for taking the time to run through that. Again, right there on the screen. If you guys have any specific questions, we totally understand every farm operation is different. So feel free and reach out to Ashley or check us out on fieldclock.com, and we'd be happy to run through anything specific for your business.
Thank you for your time.